This time on the Omicron Forked podcast.
What do you mean the point? I guess the message is that even though you don't have special powers, like, you're still important.
As a result, Biden basically said it's up to the states to do the right thing.
Isn't that crazy? Am I crazy? I feel like I'm going crazy.
Where is this thing actually at? Meanwhile, Utah's basically shutting down.
We all will die eventually, and viruses are a big deal in a normal part of life anyway.
People dying isn't as bad as having your kids home for school.
This episode brought to you by Red Bull, Blue Edition. Thank you, Red Bull.
That worked pretty good.
Wait, is this your
And
intro?
Peak Refuel. Yeah, this is the intro. So, welcome to Omicron Forked podcast. This is the show that you should be listening to. We are a group of friends who have been acquaintances for quite some time. We have differing opinions, and we like to come together and talk about things that are going around the world and put our opinions in and let you guys know exactly how you should be thinking.
When you say acquaintances, you mean like we just walk in each other's houses and basically live with each other for
we've
20 plus years,
We've
right?
Okay.
We've just making sure
we've just known who each other are for that long.
Yeah, true.
And we think each other are idiots, but we love each other for some strange reason.
No, me and Jake we're pretty much on the same page. Phil's an idiot.
Yeah, exactly.
He wears overalls. American made
With
overalls.
stripes in them. Yeah, they're made in America.
So we're sitting here
Boy.
in our currently pending recording studio in Trent's garage. We should call our podcast the Trent's Garage Podcast,
Okay.
but we can't now because we have this awesome table that has stenciled Omicron Forked on it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
this is the most done our studio's been. Like, I feel like it's actually a recording studio now.
Yeah, every week it's the most done it's ever been.
That's true.
We don't ever undo
Nope.
or less do it.
That's what I always say.
Yeah, we still have moving blankets hanging on the walls, but we'll be finishing it all soon. We got some foam on the ceiling, and hopefully we sound great. I sound great to me, so
You sound so good. Phil made this awesome table for us. It's the perfect size. It's all wired up. It's made of African mahogany. Not really. I don't even know if that's a real thing, but it's awesome.
It's actually
No joke.
Peruvian plywood
bought from the Peruvian plywood dealer
farm.
called
Yep.
the Home Depot.
Yep. One day we'll make an America-made table, but only after you, listener, give us money in Patreon
Well, technically,
accounts.
it is American made.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's
An
true. I
American
made
made
it
it.
in
Yeah,
America.
Phil made the table. It's a great table.
But I have to say, made in America from U.S. and imported materials,
You have to say that?
apparently.
Okay.
Okay, he just said it. Sweet, we made that claim.
There it went.
So we got Phil sitting to my left, my right. Is that the left?
Your
That's
other
my
left.
right.
I'm on the right.
My other left.
Yep.
Hi, Phil.
What up?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm happy.
That's good. Saturday morning.
Yeah.
We're all awake and alive. I am finally. Jeff.
True.
Jeff's here.
Yes, I am here. Hello.
Hi, Jeff.
Here I am.
Jeff
Am
is
I here?
Sally sat on a swamped spaghetti factory.
That doesn't make any sense.
And it's me, Jake.
Hi, Jake.
I'm hosting today.
How was your week?
My week was good.
Good.
I took Friday off of work.
I actually don't want to
So
hear
my
anymore.
week
I
was
just wonder
great.
if it was good, and that was it.
That's it?
Yep.
Whoa. Too many words.
Whoa. TLDR.
Okay, that's enough.
TLDR.
Today's the ASMR episode of opening my can of Red Bull in front of you.
Okay.
We already did it. So now we'll proceed with the regular
Regular scheduled broadcast.
program. As always, you can view our latest episodes on our podcast or our what's it called website, AmericanForked.com, and you can please subscribe to the show on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google, all the places so you can get information about the latest episodes released. We have a Patreon that we are using to help fund the building of this studio. It's patreon.com/Omicron Forked. And also, if you like this episode, please share it with your friends.
Or your enemies. Don't care. Just share it.
And rate and review us on the places that you can.
5 stars. iTunes.
All of
5
them.
stars, 1 star.
No, see, Phil says this, but it's always 5 stars.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, we
That's
don't.
what they
They
say
actually.
anyway.
Turns out they don't accept anything less than 5 stars, I guess. So yeah, just do 5.
yeah.
Don't try to do the other ones because it may break.
Yeah, the buttons are broke.
I think it gives you a virus on your computer
That's what I heard.
if you try to rate less than that. So, some local news. We have a couple things going on in American Fork, and they're a little embarrassing, but I'll share them nonetheless.
Are they
Love it.
personal stories or?
No personal stories.
Okay, good.
But so there's a man that allegedly tried to blow up propane tanks outside of a Provo dollar store. This man is from American Fork.
A dollar store?
A dollar store in Provo. Yeah.
So he brought the tanks then.
No, there were propane tanks outside of the dollar store. Apparently,
That doesn't make sense either.
no, it doesn't. But apparently there were.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. They have like a propane exchange thing probably in the front.
Oh, yeah, but they're not $1, right? I'm assuming they cost more than $1.
Well, no,
It's
I don't
Chinese
know if you've
propane.
ever been to a dollar store, but
Uh-huh.
the name is misleading.
I do go to 5 and below at times.
Yeah.
And it's not all 5 and below.
No, it's
It's like 5-ish
it's not
store.
1972, so
It's
pretty much everything costs more than $1.
yeah. The store should be called. We bought this stuff for $1, but we're charging you more than that.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's a do-
At
there's a-
one point, something we're selling was $1.
There's a rip-off store near my house called 99 Cent Plus. I'm like, really? It's unlimited. You can sell
Right.
Lamborghinis if you want. This isn't fair.
Anything but under $1 falls under that in that.
Just
category.
leave the price out of it. You're basically just saying, I'm not selling anything less than $1 here.
Yeah, all but $1. That sounds better.
All but $1.
So Provo police responded to a call from a dollar store saying that there was a man who lit a backpack on fire in front of a propane tank and went into the store and was acting really weird. And
This is weird.
it is really weird. They said he was acting really weird. He came and they were on the phone and the guy was like, "Are you talking to the police?" And anyway, they ended up calling the police. He came and one of the employees of the dollar store went out and like kicked the backpack away, into the parking lot and put
Right.
it out. And the guy was arrested. And
That
he's
is such a
American Fork.
weird story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where was it again?
Provo.
It was in Provo?
Yeah.
What's up with Provo
Those
lately?
BYU
Dollar store
students, man.
near 355 South, 600 East. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's
You know,
Funny.
the creepiest dollar store I've ever been to in my whole life was in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I don't know why I went to a dollar store in LA, but I specifically was looking for a dollar store. I needed to find something, and I'm like, I know I can find this at a dollar store, and I don't want to go to some. Anyway, I go in, and it was like insane. Like the people there were insane. There's a whole like homeless community out front, sitting in front, like just because I don't know, someone gave them $1, they'd go in and buy something. I guess I don't know, but I've been to LA quite a lot, and that was one of the handful of times I was like scared. I was like, oh my God, I need to get out of this dollar store.
lock your doors in the parking lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But the parking lot was better, but you had to kind of walk down the sidewalk a little ways, and that's where all the homeless people were. And as soon as I went in, dude, I'm not kidding. There's this dude in there with a big leather jacket that had like the spikes on it all over on the shoulders and stuff, and that's fine, but he was scary, actually scary. And people like actually shopping, like doing their weekly shopping at the dollar store. I'm like, this is weird.
Bumping shoulders with homeless spiky shoulder guys.
Yeah, weird. Didn't like it.
It's getting wild down in LA.
I know. That's
yeah.
what I hear.
We need to have Tyler as a special guest on our show.
Oh, yeah. Where is that guy?
I heard he hated Jake.
Oh,
Yeah. He's
That's
probably
all right,
mad
though.
at me for something.
Yeah.
so he quit talking to you
Something
for a
that I
year?
said. Yeah.
He likes me still.
Yeah. So, another American Fork thing. A man was arrested for impersonating a police officer at the American Fork Hospital.
Ooh.
So,
That's a big deal.
a man has been allegedly impersonating a police officer after police officer at American Fork Hospital on Monday. Police responded to reports from staff at the hospital saying a man who is later identified as 40-year-old William Graham was at the hospital claiming to be a police officer. He was wearing a duty uniform. His badge even had his name on it.
Duty.
Oh, yeah, that's a funny word.
So he like had a really good costume.
Yeah.
Did it tie in the back?
He had magazines with rounds in it and a taser and
So wait, how
a
did
nightstick.
How,
I think.
how did they find out he wasn't a cop?
I think. Let's see. When the police made contact with Graham at the hospital, they said he was wearing a belt commonly used by police security personnel. Belt had multiple handcuffs, pepper spray, a baton, 2 handgun magazines loaded with ammunition, and a flashlight. And let's see, the people said, oh, where did it go?
Wait, I don't get it. If there's this guy that looks just like a cop,
Well,
why was someone like, I don't think that's a cop?
I think it was, I don't know if it was the previous week, but recently before, the same guy was seen at the hospital wearing a military uniform. Impersonating a military.
And then the week
personnel.
before that, he was wearing a nurse's uniform.
I get
The
it.
week before that, he was wearing a surgeon's outfit. So they were kind of like, all right, dude.
Wait a minute, weren't you just an army guy?
Yeah.
I thought you were a janitor here.
So I think they recognized him and they're like, this is weird. That guy was just a
Did this guy work at
Sergeant.
Spirit's Halloween store?
Spirit police officer sign making store, badge making store.
I've actually seen a lot of different reports of impersonating cops lately from different states, and I haven't paid much attention to them, but I have noticed more than one story like that. That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal. What kind of charge does that have? Like, I'm sure you're in jail for at least some time, right? They get
Yeah,
a fine,
I don't know.
probably.
I'm sure it's a felony, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Is it a felony if it's a local police, state police?
I would think so.
Like a federal crime.
It'd be
yeah.
a federal crime if you were impersonating a marshal or something.
FBI agent or
Yeah.
something.
FBI.
FBI, open up. Yeah. No.
That's funny. American Fork, good job, police officers and fake police officers.
Have you guys heard of that term called, I think it's called swatting?
Squatting?
Swatting?
Yeah, when there's a mosquito in your face and you just...
You just, no, not that.
Oh.
Swatting, I think it's called swatting, but gamers will be playing a game online and they will track down the person's IP address and figure out their home address, and they will call a bomb threat from the house, and the SWAT team will show up while they're gaming.
Yikes.
You've
Oh,
never
wow.
heard of this?
Oh, so people who are watching, they're streaming their gaming online.
Yep.
And audience people who are watching.
No, it's like people playing games against each other online, like war games or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you get in a tiff because you died, and then you killed it, whatever, right? There's a way, and I don't know, I'm really handicapped at this stuff, but like you can get someone's like IP address, figure
do
out
some
where their
hacking
physical address
yeah.
is, and then you can call 911. And 911, from an anonymous number, and give them the address and say there's a bomb threat or a gun threat of some kind. They send the SWAT team over.
To disrupt.
You guys
that
never heard this
To
ever?
make them lose?
Nope.
Oh, not to
Guys,
make them
hold on,
lose,
that
but
someone's at the door.
yeah, but just to, it's like a real life,
Yeah.
like a serious prank. It's the equivalent of calling it a fake bomb threat, you know? So anyway,
This episode also brought to you by
fake bomb threats.
Peak IP address.
Oh,
Hide your IP address when you're gaming.
you can't just spit out like random sponsors that aren't real.
It's not a company.
Oh, okay. Oh, Peak Refuel.
Peak IP
I get it. I
address.
get it. Okay, that's funny. You're funny.
We do like Peak Refuel.
We do.
Yeah, we haven't had a fake peak refuel ad for a long time.
Yeah. On a side note, I bought some Built bars
Oh yeah.
this week.
Built Bar's awesome.
I had their cookies and cream one. Mm-hmm. It was good.
I won some.
96 grams of sugar.
Really?
Oh, I don't know.
No, they're like
Oh, are they?
5 grams. They're protein bars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For anyone that doesn't know out there, Built Bar is a protein bar company in American Fork that is actually really good.
Oh,
And
really? They're in American Fork?
Yeah, they're in American Fork. That's what the wrapper says, anyways. And
And the sign outside the building where they...
Oh, and the building's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another telltale sign that they're from American Fork.
Mm-hmm.
But I won when we had our white elephant gift party. I won some.
Yep.
Or my daughter did, and she gave them to me. They were awesome. They're great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good. Really
So
chewy and
they should
flavorful.
sponsor us.
These real chocolate,
Send us a pallet full
Cookies
of
and cream.
cookies and cream.
mint truffle, and raspberry chocolate.
Samoas. Oh wait, no.
No. Girl Scouts. Shout out to Girl Scouts. Also brought to you by
This episode brought to you by Girl Scout cookies.
statewide. If anybody would like to know when you can apply for a hunting permit in the state of Utah, I will tell you.
I would like to know that.
Yeah.
Ooh, we should go.
I
We should
actually
go
saw this
hunting.
article. I was like,
I know.
Phil would be interested in this one, as would I, because I like to hunt. As far as if you want to hunt for buck deer, elk, pronghorn, moose, desert bighorn sheep, Rocky Mountain bighorn sheep, Rocky Mountain goat,
Rocky Mountain
or
oysters.
bison,
Oh,
you can apply between January 27th and March 3rd.
And that's for the fall hunting season?
Yeah, for the 2022 fall.
Gotcha.
how does it work? Is it a lottery system? You pay and then your name goes in a lottery, or how does it work?
We should do it this year.
Yeah, we should do it down on the farm.
We should go get some elk. Somebody just gave my wife a bottle of elk meat that they'd like bottled themselves.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
It was fantastic.
Bottled?
Yeah, they
Never had bottled.
they cooked it in a like you bottle it in
Food
a pressure
storage.
cooker.
A mason jar?
It's just like as soft as any
It's
soft
like stew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's softer. Like it was like mush almost.
like don't stir it up. It'll,
Mush?
Yeah, it'll just fall right apart.
Mush.
Mush.
So, mush.
Not mush. Mush is the wrong word to describe
super
delicious
tender.
meat. Super tender.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I put it in some chili with so I had some hamburger in the chili, but then I added all this because it wasn't a ton. It was like a small bottle.
Right.
But I poured that in
jar.
there,
from a tiny elk.
and it was outstanding.
Midget elf.
Yeah, it was a baby elk
tiny
that they
elk.
got.
It's just a leg.
But we should go get an elk.
Well, here's the thing. Jake turned me on to elk steak when we were in like high school, I think it was. I just
very
literally
possible
think I
I did.
had some. It wasn't even like you gave him a bunch to me. It was like, what are you eating? Elk steak. I took a bite and I'm like, what the actual F? And so we had this project that we were doing, and this client had a whole freezer full of elk meat, steak, hamburger, everything. He's like, Jeff, I physically can't. Like, I have to get rid of this because we're getting rid of it and you're demoing this whole place. And he's like, I have nowhere to put it. He's like, do you want some? I'm like, yes, I do.
Yes, I do.
I took half a freezer, and I'm telling you, those steaks were so good. The reason I love them so much is you cannot overcook them or they taste terrible. So they're you usually cook them pretty rare. And I'm telling you, man,
It's a
freaking
lean meat.
Awesome. It's a good lean meat. Yep.
Yeah.
And you got to cook it right. That's why I like it. If you overcook a regular steak a little bit from the store, it still tastes good. You know, you're not going to screw it up, but there's something about like the accomplishment of nailing
Wild
cooking.
game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Well, I just want to get some practice in before like society collapses.
Yeah.
And that's how we have to eat anyway.
Before the zombies.
Yeah, I don't want my first time like butchering an elk in the wild to be like under the gunfire of zombies.
Here's the thing. I really would like to learn how to field strip something. Like I could probably field strip small animals. I think I feel good about that. Fish are obviously easy. But a big
Spiders.
game,
Spiders.
spiders, I can field strip a lizard.
Mosquitoes.
I can
Philippine spiders.
But I would love to go, even if I didn't get one myself. Like, to
So
help.
let's do it.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Quit yelling at me.
January 6th through March 3rd.
Let's-
So right now,
Let's make it a podcast activity.
Ooh,
I
that would
said
be fun.
January
Yeah.
6th. I said January 27th to March 3rd. So that's in a couple weeks.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay,
Hurry up.
hurry up. Let's
And
do it.
I don't know if they, like, what qualifies the necessity for putting in for a draw versus just getting a permit? Is it based on, like, population count?
I don't know. We'll have to find out.
Because I
But-
know sometimes you have to put in for a draw and you may or may not get it.
So, what I understand from talking to a lot of people that go hunting, only one person in your group actually needs to get a permit because almost never does anyone get anything.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So it's more about
You
like
don't want
going
four
out.
people competing together for the
Well,
hook.
well, not just that, but it's just more about like going
Getting
out,
out.
being with the guys.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like
have
fishing.
fun around the fire, right? And then you go hike around, look for an elk, don't find one, and you just spent $500.
Well, one of the
Something
things is that I've noticed, like my brother, he goes hunting all the time, and he regularly gets deer, elk, whatever he goes
Does
for.
he?
But the difference is he doesn't go out hunting and then he's done.
Yeah.
He goes out every single weekend, and sometimes even in the evenings.
Yeah.
He goes out like 25 times in the season.
Right.
Like, I'm not saying long trips. Sometimes he'll go out to where he's going and spend the evening there and come home after sundown. And that's it. But he'll take his rhino, you know what I mean? Drive the rhino around and get out and hike to where he's seen them. And he watches all summer, like where are they going? Where are they coming from? Where do you know? It's not, I think we were very stupid to think that we would go, hey, we're going to go get an elk. Unless we went to a certain place, like down by the farm, where you have landlord kind of permits.
Yeah.
Because there's not going to be many other hunters there and stuff.
Well, we'll have to look into it and go do it. Because at the very least, we could
Get away?
go like every year until we find the spot where they all are. I don't know how it works.
I
know how to shoot a gun though, so
Oh, I could nail it, I'm sure. But if we just get away, like that sounds good to me. We get a camper and go spend
We could
4
bring your
days in the
Lego
mountains.
set and actually finish.
Yeah, I could finish my Lego set while we're out there. I could wear an orange shirt. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
okay.
Black bear and cougar hunt are up next with the slated application period of February 1st through February 22nd.
Not interested.
Antlerless tags for antlerless deer, elk, moose, and doe pronghorn. Antlerless elk is actually if you get an antlerless tag, you'll probably at least be able to shoot at one.
Yeah.
Because if you go anywhere where elk are, you'll see cow elk. But the application period for that is May 26th through June 16th.
Okay.
But I want to go.
Let's do it.
I want to go hunt for.
Jake, we already
a
decided.
bull elk.
We're already
So-
doing it.
Have
We're
you,
already
have you
done.
guys done
Already got a permit.
hunter safety?
Yep.
Yeah, I did it when I was like 12, and apparently it like
Last for your whole
still
life.
on your thing because when I
Yeah.
get a fishing license, it's like a check under hunter safety. I was
Oh,
like,
really?
Oh, yeah,
I was bummed out because I thought I lost the card. I don't have the card anymore.
yeah. They still have record of it apparently.
Oh, that's good. At least that NSA data center is good for something.
Yeah, it keeps record of our.
Yeah, I got mine when I was like 12.
Yeah.
Me too. As young as I possibly could be.
Yeah, that's what they do here in Utah. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're 12? Here's a rifle.
Here's a hunter safety.
Oh, you're born? Here's a handgun.
You know what I would love to do with you guys too is go bird hunting. Just pheasant.
Yeah, I've never done fowl.
Oh man, that sounds like it's my favorite thing to shoot skeet. I love that. And I know I could do good at it if we flushed out some pheasants. And apparently that's a good group activity because you line up and tromp through a field and then you shoot your friend if you're Dick Cheney.
That's Did you ever go rabbit hunting with us?
No.
Oh,
I was going to say,
that's a
rabbit's
blast.
fun.
Let's do that
Go out
too.
West Desert, go past the lake and pull over and get your shotguns.
We could have 2022 killing shit. That's our motto for this year.
Yeah, unless you're not into that, listener. Sorry for all this hunting gore.
No,
But-
we're not. Don't apologize.
Okay.
Take ownership.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was
You
an
are who you are.
insurrection.
Take ownership of your masculinity.
Yeah.
Ultimate ownership.
Is killing animals a masculine thing?
I think
No.
I think it stems from being a provider.
Yeah.
Oh,
So if you're a female and you feel like providing, you better be able to kill something and
But-
feed it to your family.
but I bet there was like a lazy, drunk caveman, and his wife was like, "Ugh, this loser," and she went out and killed the pheasant.
Guaranteed. You ever seen the documentary The Crudes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the documentary.
The animated documentary
Yeah,
with Nicolas Cage.
Well, if you look at the animal kingdom, you got the lions. All the girls hunt,
oh, that's true. Well,
And
the
I-
lazy dad stays home.
and I think wolves are the similar. A lot of pack animals.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah, I
women
don't
hunt.
think that having dominion over beasts of the field, I don't think there's necessarily inherently anything masculine about it.
Yeah. Can you
but-
mansplain this?
Mansplaining dominion.
and use
Lack
more
of
use more
masculinity.
use more scriptural messages too. Dominion over the beasts of the field. Love it.
Beasts of the earth. No, I think if, like Jeff said, it just comes from our natural inclination to provide
and get away from children.
And get away from kids. Yeah.
Since the beginning of time.
The desire to get away from your kids is an asexual desire.
Yeah.
That's funny.
No respecter of gender. Hunting. Let's do it.
Okay.
The end.
Nationwide news this week. Another legend has passed away.
Michael Jackson.
Bob Saget.
Harry Reid.
I was actually here a lot this in the last. Usually, oftentimes they come in. It seems like they come in like threes. Famous people, like a famous person dies. You're like, oh, who are the next two? But we've had just in the last month several. We've talked about them on the show.
Yeah.
Betty White, Harry Reid.
Yeah, I forgot Harry Reid on the last episode. He had already died. But
you forgot the obscure You remembered the obscure 1930s actor that no one knew.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Poitier, or
I don't remember. I really don't remember this.
Poitier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Something.
He was a legend. Anyway.
Yeah, and I said he was African American. He's not. He's like
Cuban.
Pacific Islander or something.
He's darker than me, which isn't
He was
hard.
the first black actor to receive.
He's not
the
a
Academy.
non-albino actor. We'll
Yeah.
just say that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Bob Saget, that's a bummer.
Yeah, I read an article. I've been like waiting to figure out how he died, and I saw an article that was clickbait. It said Bob Saget's autopsy completed, and it's not.
And then you got a virus.
They still don't know. They should have said Bob Saget's autopsy completed. Then below his image, actually, it's not. They should have said that because it's not. They
Psych, JK.
basically have they said it looks like there was no evidence of foul play or drug use or abuse or anything. He was, called. Last time he entered his room at the what was the Ritz Carlton in
Motel
Orlando
6.
the night after a comedy show that he did. He checked into his hotel room at 2:17 a.m. and he didn't check out. Is that what when you go to a hotel?
Yeah.
He didn't check out, and so the hotel staff went into the room and saw his body on the bed. And the police said there was no evidence of foul play or drug use, and they still don't know.
It's
Haven't
probably
released.
It's probably COVID.
Well, he did say that on a podcast prior to that he had COVID, but I think it was like he had it a while ago.
Oh, okay.
So
It'll be interesting to see what comes up.
Yeah,
I think he's lived a pretty wild life.
yeah. Bob Saget,
How old was he? 65
65-year-old. Yeah, 65 years old.
So what Bob Saget do you guys, when you think Bob Saget, what do you think? What role is he playing? What is he doing? Because he is a very diverse.
Yeah, Full House and America's Funniest Home Videos.
Oh yeah, that's what.
And that's not he comedy wise. That's not who he was.
That was not him at all. That
he
was
was
like
very crass.
That was like that'll pay the bills, and here's
Yeah.
what I actually like doing.
Yeah. But apparently the actors really loved working with him. Like he was a very kind person.
Yeah.
I guess he was. Jimmy Kimmel broke down on his show when he was talking about him how Bob Saget was always very, very open with. He would tell you he loves you to anyone, like all
Yeah.
the time. He was just a very caring person.
That's cool. I think Jimmy Kimmel's a piece of crap, though.
I don't like Jimmy Kimmel, but he liked Bob Saget.
Oh, so
and
like
I did
him.
too. So
that's okay, fine. Yeah, I think Bob Saget was a very well liked person, and yeah, but he's so funny because he was very crass. Mm-hmm. He's not someone you bring home to mama.
he's not the person that you think he would be from Danny Tanner.
That's what I've heard. I haven't seen his comedy, but yeah,
Pretty sure one of his jokes is like basically you have to suck dick for crack. And it's funny.
oh,
Oh,
So-
that's
that is funny.
I don't remember the whole joke. I just remember being like, is that Danny Tanner?
right.
I always just now when I see him, I always think how they did that Full House reunion, and the Olsen twins didn't do it. Mm-hmm. Did you guys watch that?
What, the Fuller House?
Yeah, Fuller House.
I watched it.
Yeah, why
Yeah.
would you if you're the Olsen twins?
That part where they were like, "Oh, where's Michelle? Was that her name?
Yeah.
Michelle."
The baby?
Yeah, and they're like, oh, she's got to do her fashion thing, and all the actors look at the screen like, that's stupid. They're like making fun of him, kind of.
Those girls have made just a goat load of money.
Yeah, it was like, oh, we're too cool to go back and do Fuller House. But
Yeah,
it was
it's
like,
kinda
are you though?
Yeah, I heard it was because Fuller House did really well. I think
It did.
all of the millennials watched it.
My kids loved
And
it.
the kids,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. I just watched that first episode.
I had heard that the Olsen twins had said they didn't really have a connection with the staff at all because they were so young. They were literally born on the show.
Yeah,
And then, I think they had to show up until they were maybe 5 years old, 6. and
How would
then-
they have no connection? It's literally their whole life.
But they don't, no memory, really, of it.
yeah,
because
'cause
they
by
were
the
so
time-
young when they stopped filming.
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah. I don't know. That makes sense. Did you
I
watch
think-
that Harry Potter thing they just did on HBO?
No,
It was like a reunion of all the actors.
that's weird.
And they all like act crying
They act
about how
crying.
much they
pretend to
love
be-
each other.
They pretend to love each other.
Yeah.
My kids and wife just finished watching every single Harry Potter. They've done this 2 years in a row now during holidays.
Oh, really?
They just finished it last week.
7 of them?
I don't know how many
Eight of
there
them?
are. Too many.
8 of them. There
I
are a
can't.
lot.
I don't even know if I've sat through more than 1 or 2 of them completely.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm not saying they're bad movies. I'm just saying, I got the dad syndrome where I just either fall asleep or go back to work,
They're not.
Or live my life.
They're not outstanding. Like there's something about them where it's just like, it's really good because it's Harry Potter.
Yeah.
They've got fantastic actors in it,
Yeah.
but they're just not like. They're not like top level.
Yeah.
Right.
Like what's it called?
Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder, or what's the one I just watched?
Trumbo?
Trumbo
Dumbo?
with Bryan Cranston.
What did you
West
just
Side
watch?
Story.
Oh, yeah.
Steven Spielberg.
Oh, yeah.
Top notch.
I'm
movie.
surprised you didn't mention it again when I got here this morning.
Oh, West
But
Side.
that's all you talked about last time.
Yeah, it's awesome. If you
think-
haven't seen it.
I think West Side Story has a commission program where if you can get your friends to go watch the movie, they send you money because that's how much you've been talking about it.
Yeah, there you go.
I watched
go
it
see
and
West
they
Side Story.
didn't have that.
You
They
did
didn't
watch
mention
it?
that. Yeah. I loved it. It
Wasn't it awesome?
was really good.
Yeah,
When you're a shark, you're a... Is that the right one?
yeah. A jet. When you're a jet,
that's
you're
right.
a,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. Don't get it wrong.
I'm sorry.
I think the other team is the Sharks, though.
Yeah,
isn't
it's the Sharks with
Yeah.
the Jets.
it? Yeah.
The Puerto Ricans are the sharks.
You know who I'd really like to go watch that movie with? Mike.
Yeah.
I'd probably have to slap him 6 or 7 times. Quit singing, Mike.
Quit singing all the words 1 second before they do it on screen.
But I want you to put this on record. What did you say? You described this movie as it makes all other musicals look like what?
I think I said,
You said it's the best
go-
musical ever done on film.
yeah, go see West Side Story. It makes every other movie musical look like an idiot.
Yeah, this is like stupid. Like amateurs did it.
And I think what I meant to say is Steven Spielberg made the director of every other movie musical look like particularly the ones done in like the last 2 decades.
Right?
I feel like are just like, Wah.
Have you seen Sweeney Todd?
I haven't.
I really like that one.
Yeah, was it good?
I didn't know it was a musical when I started
Well, that's the
watching
Johnny
it.
Depp one, right?
Yeah, I didn't
the
know it was a
barber?
I didn't know it was a musical, and I was like, they're singing.
Yeah.
I was like, what's happening? But I was so invested. I watched the whole thing, and it's actually really good.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it. And it also might be the content. Like West Side Story is an awesome musical. Mm-hmm. So he had that going for him. Like, what was the one I didn't like? Les Mis.
Movie?
Don't they sing the entire thing? There's no acting dialogue, right?
Yeah, they filmed it on a soundstage.
Yeah.
And it wasn't dubbed over.
I like a lot
The
of that.
audio.
I like the production and stuff. It just was too much singing. There's got to be a little like,
Story?
Yeah.
a little story
Well,
there.
I mean, it has a story for sure, but
yeah.
Like the news,
scripted,
newsies.
Yeah.
scripted
You gotta
dialogue.
talk.
Yeah, I like a little talking
Yeah.
and then a song. But if it's
Well,
just like 2
West
hours
Side
of
Story
songs,
has a lot of that.
yeah,
It was very. I thought that the songs that were put in there, like just the timing between songs was great.
yeah. Well, and the dancing is incredible. Like that. Like if I see dancing in a movie, I'm usually like, ugh, dancing's stupid. But this was like,
I'm gonna eat my steak.
Michael
Load my-
Jackson. Yeah, this was like
Sidearm.
Michael Jackson level dancing, like everyone on the shot, like the whole movie. It was just like awesome. It was
Right.
really well done. So
Okay. Well, I'll go see it.
And if you go see it with two friends,
then you'll get an
and
American
each of those two
Forked.
friends
Yeah.
bring two friends, then you can get a free movie ticket.
The whole thing's just a pyramid scheme.
Oh
That's
yeah,
great.
mention American Forked when you go to the movie theater.
Yeah, exactly. Say American Forked Podcast
Sent me.
sent me to get to watch this, and I'd
Yeah.
be like, "What?"
As you're walking
And then
in,
see
when
what they
Steven
say.
Spielberg takes your ticket, make sure to mention to him American Fork Podcast sent you.
Yep.
Yeah. So Jeff, you didn't see it?
No. I did see Enchanto. Did you guys see that?
Encanto. Yes.
Only like 40
Oh my
times so
God.
far.
I've seen it I've actually watched it all the way through once, and it's actually a great show. It's hilarious.
I like it, but I have kind of the same problem that I did with Frozen. Is like, what is the premise here? Like, I couldn't really understand what the point was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me what it was.
What do you mean the point? I guess the message is that even though you don't have special powers, like you're still important.
Yeah, but they didn't really like land on that.
Yeah.
Did they? The grandma was like mad,
Kind
and
of
then
a
she was
turd.
like, and she was like, "It's your fault, grandma, that the house is dying." And then she was like, "I'm
Oh, yeah.
sorry. I wanted it not to die so bad." And I was kind of like, "Is that a crime?" Like,
And it turns out I do actually love you.
yeah.
You know what it is? The characters are more personable than I've seen in most Disney characters. Like, they're real to me.
Yeah.
They made more sense than a lot of other characters, like Mulan. I'm like, okay. Or whatever. There's so many characters in Disney that I'm just kind of like,
Mulan, pulled that one out of nowhere.
I just don't like Mulan. I don't know what it is.
No, I love Mulan.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't
You
know.
like Chris Rock as a dragon?
Is it because it has Donny Osmond?
It's not
singing
Chris
in it?
Rock. It's what's his name?
Oh, that was Chris Rock as
Donny
a dragon.
Osmond?
It's not Chris Rock. Who's the like super famous
Wow.
comedian?
We all forgot, huh?
He's like the
What's
most
your favorite
famous
movie?
ever.
You tell me.
Can't remember his name.
Chris Farley.
Eddie Murphy.
Oh,
Eddie Murphy, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Anyways.
No,
I'm just-
he's a little campy, but that has a really strong premise. This girl goes to save her father by dressing up like a man, gets caught, and ends up saving all of China, and the whole country ends up bowing to her in the end. It's like super powerful, done really well. The movie sucked. I mean, the
live action
The
one?
live action
It was
one.
terrible.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I have such a sour taste. I don't like the live action one.
yeah.
So anyone that paid like $30 to watch it live or when it first came out, I feel bad for them.
Yeah, I feel
On Disney Plus Premium
Yeah.
or whatever.
I held out on that one, and I'm glad I did.
I'm glad you did too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't. I heard it was kind of like not. I didn't even watch it. It wasn't really true to the original story.
Yeah, it was just, you know what it was? It was a Chinese movie. Like, not, like, obviously it's set in China, but it's, because I watch, like, Chinese martial arts films, and it was exactly, like, it
Was it
looked
like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Mulan?
it wasn't even that level. Like, that's way on the American side. It was, like, on the Chinese, like just their style of movie making. You know what I mean? Like, how they, like, flip in the air and just, I don't know. It just,
So the one lawn,
the one long.
the Mulan one,
The Mulan one.
Mulan one.
Exactly.
Beagle's favorite movie, the one.
Yeah. No, I didn't like it. I haven't liked any of the live action
Nope.
Disneys.
Even Lion King was like, meh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the real acting of the lions was pretty good though.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the live action Land Before Time
That'd be good.
or Five Goes West.
Five Foot Goes West.
I don't even know if that was Disney, but that would be. Yeah, anyway,
Was it Walt Disney?
Rescuers Down Under live action.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Live action. They didn't
They actually didn't have one. Never mind.
It was live action.
Well, yeah. I mean,
It was like a mesh between live and animated, right?
yeah. Yep.
It was like him in in a live action world. It was just CGI.
Yep.
Anyway,
It's funny.
yeah. Yeah, when you take an epic movie like Aladdin, Lion King, Mulan, and try to make it to a live action, I was skeptical the whole time. about when they're like, oh, we're going to do a Lion King. Like they're going to do Little Mermaid, apparently, sometime in the future.
What?
They are doing Little Mermaid. Yeah, what it is they just don't. It's like it needs to be over the top. It needs to be like 110% the whole movie, because it's a goofy cartoon that you watched that you loved growing up. It's like this West Side Story movie, like it just like keeps moving. You know what I mean? And the actors are always like doing something and dancing. Beauty and the Beast is a perfect example. They're all singing and just standing there most of the movie. It's just like I'm watching a movie of people stand there and when they could be twirling around and jumping and like confetti shooting, like the whole movie. I just want like a whole movie of like
confetti and flames.
Yeah, flames, airplanes crashing into things in the background. Just like keep my attention.
Blue angels flying over.
Exactly. I just don't think they like do it enough. You know what I mean? It's just like, but I mean, they still probably made $1 billion off of each one they
I'm sure
released. So
even
what
if
do they care?
Even if people just watched it out of curiosity, they're like,
yeah,
I'll go see it.
I'll go see Beauty and the Beast live action.
Yeah,
I liked it when I was a kid. Oh wait, I'm going to go back and watch the original now.
Yeah,
when they pull it out of the vault or whatever.
Yeah, and I've wondered, like, is that because we grew up on those movies? Because I watch those movies and I think they're still really good.
Yeah.
Like, and there are movies where I'll watch and it's like, this is just the nostalgia because this movie sucks.
Right.
But
you feel obligated to watch it because it was such a big part of your childhood.
Yeah. But it seems like all the Disney movies, especially in the 90s when we were watching Disney movies, you know, I think they were great.
I've had this discussion with my wife. I was starting to introduce my kids, they're now teenagers, to shows that I liked when I was in high school and junior high and stuff. And it's been interesting discussions between me and my wife because it's like, is that okay to show them? I'm like, I know I was watching it when I was their age, but...
And it wasn't a big deal.
And it wasn't a big deal. The other thing is, it's rated PG-13 probably, but PG-13 from 1997 is way different than PG-13 from 2020.
Yeah.
Like, totally different.
Yeah.
Like, anyways, so I was talking to her about, like, Tommy Boy. Like, could I show him Tommy Boy? And, you know what I mean? Just, like, you know, Billy Madison and some of these movies that I just thought were hilarious. Like, the funniest movies in the world. I'm like, are they ready for them? Anyway.
Yeah.
It's an interesting balance.
Yeah, I agree.
I would ask you, Phil, but your kids are all younger. But
yeah, we don't. The only PG-13 I've shown my kids is Jurassic Park, and that's because Mom was gone for the weekend.
The original?
Did it scare him?
The original?
Not very much. I skipped through like the part where the T-Rex eats the guy in half, and maybe
Off
one
the
or two
toilet.
other parts. But because the Apple TV is nice, you can just like fast forward 10 seconds real fast. You know what I mean? But it wasn't really scary. I tried watching another one with them. I think I started Captain America with my 5-year-old, and like 10 seconds in, I was like, oops, too young.
Forgot
this.
about that.
Yeah, I was like, well, it was just like really violent, the first, like, whatever.
Yeah.
So
You have teens and preteens, Jake. Are they? What kind of movies are they watching, or do you let them?
We let them have free reign of Disney Plus.
anything on Disney Plus?
So pretty much anything on Disney Plus they watch.
What's the worst thing on there? Like a polar bear getting eaten?
I don't know what's the worst, but it's pretty family oriented.
Yeah.
The Avengers ones can get pretty rough.
That's true.
And The Simpsons is on there.
Oh.
Halloween specials.
Yeah, but they're still TV appropriate.
We showed the kids Back to the Future, and they loved it.
Which one? The first one?
The first one and the second one. And let's see, a recent one that we watched, Knives Out. The kids loved Knives Out.
Is that the Gordon Ramsay TV show?
No. Daniel Craig, the James Bond actor. He's a detective who investigates a prominent family death.
I need to up my movie game. That's all there is to it. Sorry.
Knives Out is really good.
Yeah.
Did you watch it, Phil?
Yeah, I did. I liked it.
So that one is geared. It's definitely geared towards adults, not kids at all. But it's
Right.
it's very appropriate for kids.
Okay.
It's a Clue type film. You know Clue.
Yeah, yeah. Have you seen the movie Clue?
Watched, yeah, which they've also watched.
Did they like that?
Yeah, it is very entertaining.
Yeah.
So I just watched a movie recently, and I couldn't believe the amount of stars that were in this. So I'm going to name the stars and see if you can guess the movie.
Tropic Thunder.
Jack Nicholson, Pierce Brosnan, Glenn Close, Annette Bening, Natalie
Batman.
Portman, Sarah Jessica Parker,
Star Wars.
Michael J. Fox, Martin Short, Danny DeVito, Jack Black,
Love Actually.
Christina Applegate.
2 Men and a
Family
Baby.
Stone.
Anyway, there's a ton.
Family Stone.
What was that, like 15 big
You
stars?
just named them, and I knew 5 of them.
Oh. You don't know Jack Black, Pierce
I
Brosnan,
know
Glenn
Pierce.
Close,
I don't know
Natalie
Glenn Close.
Portman.
I know Natalie Portman.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
I know her.
Michael J. Fox.
Yep.
Martin Short.
Yep.
It's not
Danny
a,
DeVito.
It's
You know
not a
all
love
of them.
story movie.
Jack Black.
Batman.
Mars
Returns.
Attacks.
Mars Attacks.
Oh, that's interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah. I was watching it. It's terrible, but
Well, thanks for bringing it up.
yeah. I just thought that was hilarious.
That
I'm
is
watching it. I'm like, holy cow, there's like tons of stars
There
in this
is.
movie.
That is a lot.
Yeah, those are like a lot of A-listers.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool, but terrible movie. That's great.
I wouldn't say it was terrible. It's like
It's not good.
it's like a B-rate like slasher like Sharknado type movie.
yeah.
But it's done by who's the guy that does like Nightmare Before Christmas?
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton.
Yeah.
And so it's that Tim Burton-y. So it's not
okay.
terrible, but it's got all these actors in it.
Whimsical and interesting art.
Yeah.
Artistic.
But it's like
wise.
funny. Like Michael J. Fox is in it and he dies in like the first 5 minutes. It's like that kind of thing.
That's funny.
But
I was gonna make a Tourette's joke, but I won't.
Okay.
it's
You
not
just did.
It's not Tourette's that he has. What is it?
Parkinson's.
Parkinson's.
Parkinson's?
That's what I
Yeah.
meant. Okay, so
Poor guy.
That's
Tourette's joke would have been appropriate then.
Yeah.
That's a tragedy. He really was great.
Yep.
Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
He's good. I like him.
But anyway. So we've derailed your
It's all right. We have
Thing in
Are you
Discussions
running? Are you
on
running a
movies.
podcast here?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey guys, I'm the host. It's Jake. So on to our main topic. We have probably the biggest thing going on right now is COVID is now a huge deal. I had a national article to kind of introduce that, but basically the Supreme Court has knocked down Biden's mandate for employers to have all their employees vaccinated for any business over 100 employees, basically saying that it's not constitutional to require some states. You shouldn't on a high level require states. Some states should not do that. Should not be able to do that.
Unless you're receiving federal money for hospitals. Is that right? They can require that
For hospitals?
for Medicaid and Medicare.
Yeah, they're pretty much saying. I think hospital employees they can mandate if they're federally funded, or all of their federal employment, because they're pretty much saying like, well, the federal government is the employer, so you can do what you want.
Well, like let's say you have an old folks home, and some of the old folks you're getting Medicare and Medicaid paid to the old folks home. I believe this is how it works. I could be wrong. Because that money is coming into your old folks' home, you are required to have the entire staff vaccinated, because otherwise they can cut that those funds off.
Yeah.
Specifically through Medicare and Medicaid.
And
Wait.
I don't know. I've never minded healthcare workers being mandated to get the vaccine. I know there are a lot of healthcare workers that are like, no, I want to blah, blah, blah. And the military.
How many healthcare workers do you know?
I know several, and they didn't care, actually.
Yeah.
But I've heard of, like, obviously in New York, they had like 10%, they laid off like 10% of their healthcare workers or whatever
Yeah.
because they didn't get vaccinated, which is bizarre to me. But
Yeah, I know Biden. So as a result, Biden basically said it's up to the states to do the right thing, and the Supreme Court. Basically, the Supreme Court had said he didn't go through Congress, and some states will not like Wyoming, for instance, constitutionally in the Wyoming Constitution says that employers cannot mandate vaccines or cannot tell employees what to do with their own health. And so that would be one conflict. They'd have to ratify a state constitution in order to comply with this federal thing. It would just be a huge mess.
Wow.
So now he's saying, okay, states, now it's your responsibility to do the right thing.
Yeah, it was interesting. I listened to more of the arguments on the Supreme Court case, and it seemed like the government was pretty much saying, well, this is what's the word? It's an unusual, it's an unprecedented pandemic. It's an emergency. That's why we have to do it. And the Supreme Court justices were like, well, if it's such an emergency, why doesn't Congress just pass a law? Why don't they say,
Right.
hey, this is, like China just blew up Florida, so Congress get together and,
Declare war.
Declare war.
Right.
So there's this pandemic, so Congress get together and pass, whatever legislation you need to stop it.
Yeah.
I realized during this process that this is the same story we heard over and over and over in the Trump administration, which is executive directives, or what do they call executive orders, come down, and then all of a sudden they're overturned. And it's like, the difference is some of them I agree with and some of them I don't agree with, but it's like, it's a weird thing that's happening nowadays that I don't think used to happen, which is presidents come in and they act more like a dictator, and then through the system it gets shut down. Mm-hmm. Problem is the system moves a little slow. It's been months and months and months before, right? When did Biden actually sign that executive order?
I thought it was like November, or something.
Oh, yeah, could have been even
older.
longer than that. I thought
For the mandate?
Yeah. September,
it was
October. I don't know. It's a long time ago, though.
I think it was 6 podcasts ago, because that's when you were complaining about it.
Which is about 7 weeks.
Yeah, there you go. So, but my point is, it's just weird to me that that it takes that long. If it's unconstitutional, we should have a way of knocking it down quickly.
Well, the problem is when you sue, you can't just go right to the Supreme Court. You go to your district court, and the judge says, yeah, that's not constitutional. Mm-hmm. So then they appeal, they go to the higher court.
Right.
And then they say, yes, it is. So then I think how it works, I'm not sure, but I think if you get 2 of the same rulings in a row, you're out. So if you go to district court, they say no, and then you appeal and they say no, you're done.
Right.
But pretty much the way to get to the Supreme Court is like one says yes, you appeal, they say no, you appeal, they say yes, and that's how you end up at the Supreme Court.
Or you just have, it just has to be about COVID or abortion, and then it'll get to the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, just mention COVID or abortion.
Exactly. Well, and ideologically, our country's about half and half. So it makes sense that just, judges are going to be kind of split. So if you do get one, and if it's a political issue and you get a ruling and you appeal, you're probably likely to get the opposite ruling on the next one. So this got kicked all the way up, and
it was a 6-3 decision, I think.
Yeah, they said pretty much all the conservative justices voted for it, and the liberal ones against. Which I've said before, I think is dumb. I think our Supreme Court justices should be so impartial that they're unpredictable. Pretty much, like it should always be a mixed bag.
Yeah, but good luck with that.
Yeah.
To find a lifelong good judge who would qualify and is not partial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's
maybe
interesting.
one ideology is just righter than the other, and that's why, I don't know.
What do you
Get it?
Would it work, Ryder? What from Paw Patrol?
Yeah.
Okay.
Righter, like
Flynn Rider
more
from,
right.
from not
More
from Tinder.
Riderer?
Yeah, more righterist.
What about the idea of if it went to the Supreme Court, instead of these 9 judges making the decision, they put a nationwide vote out there?
Well, that's what they said too. Like,
That would be interesting.
and that's what they were pretty much saying with Congress. Like, let the people decide. Like, why do you have to do this? It was interesting because they said, like, never before has OSHA mandated vaccines. Like, because a vaccine, what their argument was, is a vaccine doesn't just protect you in the workplace, it protects you outside of work. So this one court justice was saying it's kind of the equivalent of requiring like a safety belt when you show up to work or safety glasses, but you never take them off. Like it's kind of a permanent.
They require you to sew them into your skin.
Yeah, it's like it affects your whole life, not just while you're at work.
Wow.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, requiring a hard hat on your construction job is not the same as requiring a shot.
Yeah, which is a little silly because I think, the vaccine is obviously safe. Its effectiveness is now largely in question. But the judge did bring up, he's like, some people do die from this, right? From this vaccine. And, and the girl was like kind of sidestepping and it was like, well, no, can't you answer that? She's like, well, it's an extremely small COVID. It's way deadlier than the vaccine pretty much. And he's saying like, but you are admitting that the vaccine poses some risk and you're,
mandating a risky thing.
Right. Which again, the risk is much smaller apparently than the risk of dying from COVID, which is already very small. So
yeah, but then the efficacy would come into play. Like, okay, how is the efficacy of it? Does it justify mandating the risk? It's just a huge, cloudy, tough situation.
Yeah,
right.
But now that we've got the case numbers going way up, in Utah, Alpine School District on Wednesday announced that Friday and Tuesday of this week, so yesterday and then this coming Tuesday, kids are at home, online learning, and other districts are following suit, doing it for longer because the numbers are going way up.
Yeah, I don't know why. I was talking to Jeff about this. I'm really confused why anyone's worried. Because they said, oh, there's this new Omicron variant. It's more contagious. It's spreading way faster. Now they say it's like the overwhelming majority of cases are this Omicron.
Yeah.
But they also say that Omicron doesn't affect the lungs.
Almost nobody dies from it.
Right. So I would think that would be like, great, let's just keep living life and we'll all get the cold like we used to.
Yeah.
And then hopefully that will build some herd immunity real quick. Because they're also saying that apparently the vaccine isn't effective against this variant either. So it's like, okay, are we all going to shut down now because the cold is out? I don't get it.
I've got so many things to say on the subject, but I don't know how to work them into this conversation. It's like, this is so irritating to me that this is happening again.
So do you guys, irritating I think is a good word. I was just going to say how we're doing the same thing we did over for Delta. And, we found out that all of these vaccines are not what the CDC originally said. We still get it, the virus. If we've been vaccinated, we'll still have to wear masks. We will still get sick.
Right.
We'll still be contagious. And
We'll
around
still
other
be
people.
asymptomatic. We'll still be all this stuff.
Yeah. And my biggest gripe is that they're advertising the vaccine as, I heard of advertisement the other day that just absolutely made me like, okay, let's think about this. You cannot, my mind's all over the place right now. It said like the vaccine prevents 1 in 9, like 1 in 10, like 1 in 10 deaths or something like, if you get the vaccine, people are not dying because they get the vaccine.
I think the number of people dying, I think 1 in 10 of the people dying have been vaccinated. That might be the quote.
No, it wasn't a statistical number. It was a number that you cannot measure. Like getting the vaccine will prevent 90% of, I think they took that stat, the 1 in 10, and said that if you get the vaccine, you're 90% chance you're not going to die. You cannot measure that. You can't say that, this person didn't die because they got the vaccine.
Right.
Because you don't know what would have happened if they didn't get the vaccine. And they're just, these asinine claims are being made about the vaccine, and they're being accepted by the CDC and by the mainstream media and people as a whole, when it's like, you can't measure that. You don't know what would have happened if these people were not vaccinated.
You guys should YouTube this, and the listeners should YouTube this. It's something like how to fudge statistics.
Yeah.
and watch these videos on YouTube about it, because it's very, very sane. And mathematically, you can make it sound, any statistic sound however you want.
Yeah.
And a very easy and quick decision on that is, let's say you are paying $10 for something per month. The next month, it goes up by $10. Is that a 100% increase? Yes, it is. But let's say you're paying $1 and it goes to $2. That's also a 100% increase. But by communicating it in different ways, you can make a $10 increase sound exactly like a $1 increase. And if you look at the difference, it's totally different, right?
Yeah.
It's totally different magnitudes, totally different scales. So when people talk about 1 out of 10, they're basically talking about percentages and statistics. And so if you watch these videos, it's very easy. And that's like the most simple explanation. There's other explanations of how you can fudge all kinds of numbers and just make them sound the way that you want them to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's bull crap to me. It's just, whenever these statistics come out, I'm just like, I don't believe any of them. I don't care if it's in favor for me or for somebody else. And it's like, I've literally had to narrow down where I get my data to literally people that I know and that have no reason to lie to me. Like I asked clients, I asked a client the other day, she was telling me that her team, who's spread across the whole United States, how none of them got sick through this whole pandemic. And then all of a sudden right now, since November till now, that 16 out of 22 of them have been sick. And I'm like, cool. So that's a real thing for me, because she has no reason to tell me anything different, right? That's a real thing that I can come across and go, okay, most of our people are in California. There's a bunch of people spread all over, all the way to Rhode Island. 16 out of 22. So obviously more people are getting sick. And I can look at people in my actual life and go, yeah, more people are getting sick now. But I asked her too. I said, what have the symptoms been like? She's like, it's like a bad cold at the worst. And I'm like, okay, so it sounds way less than Delta or the original one. So where is this thing actually at? Meanwhile, Utah's basically shutting down.
Right.
Like, my kids are going to remote learning for an entire week. I listened to it. There's a mask mandate now in Salt Lake County, and it's like, is this 2020 again? Like, what's going on?
And what have we learned?
So, and that's the thing that really gets me. So if the argument is that the CDC is like that's where you go to get the information, right? Omicron's happening. So here's on the CDC website right now.
You probably spelled it wrong.
As of this recording, Omicron variant, what you need to know.
That's the DCD website, Phil.
What sea is that? Which ocean is the CDC?
So listen to this, though. What we know about Omicron, CDC has been collaborating with global public health and industry partners to learn about Omicron as we continue to monitor its course. We don't yet know how easily it spreads, the severity of illness it causes, or how well available vaccines and medications work. So we don't know. But we're closing schools.
Right.
Okay. It gets better. Vaccines. Current vaccines are expected to protect against severe illness, hospitalizations, and deaths due to infection with Omicron variant. However, breakthrough infections in people who are fully vaccinated are likely to occur. With other variants like Delta, vaccines have remained effective at preventing severe illness, hospitalizations, and death. The recent emergence of Omicron further emphasizes the importance of vaccination and boosters. So it's essentially saying, this is the paragraph that gets to me. It says, current vaccines are expected to protect. It says, however, breakthrough infections are likely to occur. With other variants, the vaccine works, so it's important to get vaccinated. Do you see how it's saying three different things that aren't like...
It's saying we're expecting this, but it looks like this is probably not going to happen, but we should say you should do this.
It's kind of like saying where you might get in a car crash today. Wearing your seatbelt helps other people. So when you ride a motorcycle,
okay,
where
I see what
you know what I mean. Like that's an extreme example, but it's like it pretty much in one sentence says other variants have been bad and the vaccine has worked. We don't know if the vaccine works against this,
but
get vaccinated.
Right.
Which that's good advice. Get vaccinated, but what it's not coming right out and saying is the vaccine helpful
don't
against
know,
this
yeah.
variant. It's just we don't know, right? And why not just say that? It
Right.
doesn't appear that it's working against the variant, or it
Right.
is. Like they should know that by now, don't they?
Well, they should, but apparently they're not publishing it. At the bottom of that article that say brought to you by Pfizer.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
just wondering.
Sponsored by Moderna.
Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah, and it's like we've said this every time we talk about COVID is the only thing they're peddling is the vaccine. The only thing, not live a healthy life, not get all of this other, take vitamins and make sure you're not deficient in such and such. Get the vaccine. That's the only thing they're peddling.
I don't know why we have. I mean, this is 2 years down the road. Why haven't we had a cigarette smoking
Ban.
level of public health infomercials about losing weight?
Mm-hmm.
Like, remember in the 90s, like seeing lungs cut open on TV, like people breathing through their neck, like this is what smoking does. Why don't we see like 400-pound people choking on a ventilator, like this is why you should lose weight?
Right.
Instead, it's just, you should have got vaccinated.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why aren't we focusing on, there's obviously a group of people that are struggling the worst. Like, why? And I'm not saying that should be the only thing. There should be vaccines and washing your hands, social distancing.
Promote things that boost your immune system.
Yeah.
There's no money in that, Jake.
I know, and that's it's annoying. It's really frustrating that as a consumer, I am negatively impacted by the greedy desires of a group that should be trusted.
Right. There's a whole new conspiracy theory that came out, and maybe it's old news, but something clicked with me this week, and I don't know how true it is, but it seems to make sense. Somebody told me that the way that these vaccines have been approved is through a temporary approval because they haven't gone through the full
Emergency authorization.
Thank you. That's the word.
EAU, emergency authorization use.
Yeah.
So that's true of two of them, but I think one has been
Okay.
entirely improved.
So okay. I don't know the details on this, but the person that was talking to me said the reason why ivermectin and these zinc vitamin compounds that are supposedly proven, and I say supposedly proven because I haven't done my own research. Apparently, this person's telling me there's a worldwide group that has been doing research, and India in particular has been handing these things out like candy, like these COVID packs or whatever that have a bunch of vitamins and ivermectin and stuff to do preventative work and also to cure, to try and handle it. And apparently it's enough that they're doing it a lot. There's a lot of people that agree on this. Apparently at 2020, it was 50 doctors, and it's grown to nearly 10,000 doctors that are on this, exchanging information and research on alternate cures and preventative measures for this other than just a vaccine. But our government has shut down and inspecting every single package that comes in from India because they create a ton of ivermectin and from other parts of the country, and they do not allow through the postal service ivermectin to come through. Okay, so they've shut that down. And I asked someone, I asked this person, why are they doing that? And they said, and I again don't know how true this is, but the emergency authorization of the vaccine is only valid if there is no known cure or preventative measure. So if there's a preventative measure or known cure, then they cannot use the vaccine.
For emergency use.
For emergency use. So it would have to go through the full clinical trials, which takes years at times. And that's why they're saying they're suppressing that so much.
It'd be interesting to see the numbers since, I think it was the Pfizer vaccine that got actual approval. And I thought the other two, the Moderna and Johnson & Johnson, would have been approved by now, but I don't think they have. And when I say approved, I mean not for emergency use, but
full
actually
FDA
approved.
approval.
Right. And so that's a little weird why they haven't been approved by this point, because we're now 2 years down the road from a lot of people getting them. We know we've heard bad things about them. I think Johnson & Johnson in particular or one of them caused heart palpitations in a group of people. I can't remember. But yeah, like you're saying, they have these vaccines. Only one has actually been approved, I know the monoclonal antibody treatment, the treatment that I had, is supposed to be really effective. I mean, it was effective for me in eliminating most of my symptoms within a couple days after I had it. But they say they have a shortage on that because they're obviously, they need it for everybody.
I was listening to a thing the other day that said, as far as the airlines are concerned, that the FAA documentation or the policies and procedures of FAA say that if you cannot fly if any one person in the if everyone in the cockpit has substances in their body that are not approved by the FDA. And so by getting an emergency use authorization by the FDA does not qualify. And so mandating pilots get the vaccine goes against the FAA regulations.
Oh, really?
And I don't know, like I've only heard it in this one thing that I was listening to, but that makes complete sense that there would be a legal case for pilots to go against their employers, saying the FAA will not allow me to have this. I haven't heard anything from the FDA. That's the thing. It's kind of like, okay, I need to read the FDA regulations, but because I haven't heard anything from them, or the airlines are, they're peddling requirements and all that stuff, and like there's a major pilot shortage, and the whole airline as a whole has just been.
They said Delta Airlines they have 8,000 employees that are on leave with COVID right now. 8,000. Wow. Can you imagine how many flights that disrupts?
Yeah, and they just say it's weather, right? Weather-related delays and all that stuff. And
that's my gripe. And going again off of the CDC website, they claim to not know, but a lot of early indications, like I said, have said that this Omicron variant isn't as severe. It's more like a cold. In fact, when diagnosing it, they tell you you might think you just have a cold. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, so what are we shutting down schools for colds? Let the kids get a cold. They get one every year, 3 times a year. Every time the winter comes, the whole class is sniffling and sneezing. Mm-hmm. That's completely normal. Why not just get it, let it go? Like at some point, you have to decide, we're just going to live with this. We're just, yes, a percentage of the population dies from it, but like we've said from the beginning, so do people die from the flu every year. A lot of people. No, it's not 500,000, but it's like 50 or 60,000. And if this cold isn't going to be as deadly, I don't know. But we'll see in the coming weeks how all these huge influx of cases, like we're having millions of cases in a day now, if that starts translating into deaths, that would mean 20,000 people are going to die in a couple weeks. If we go from the previous,
I think numbers are definitely going to go down because the state of Utah has said don't get tested if you have symptoms, because I guess the availability of tests is way low.
Yeah, and that makes sense. What they should be saying is if you have more severe Omicron symptoms, if you have shortness of breath, things like that, then go get tested. But if you just think you have a cold and you think it might be COVID, they could say, it's up to you. You can stay home, go to work. They just kind of make these unrealistic expectations oh my gosh, we're going to shut down everything because of a cold? That's crazy. Isn't that crazy?
There's two things.
Am I crazy?
No.
I feel like I'm going crazy.
Listen to this. So we have certain regulations and procedures in place to make sure that people stay safe, right? One of them includes if you're sick or people in your house are sick, that you stay home or whatever. So this is what the Granite School District said, which is where my kids go to school. We fully recognize that distance learning is not ideal and have concerns with respect to our students and their emotional well-being in person. Instructions from, let me fast forward to this section here. So in the last 2 weeks, we have had over 2,200 teacher substitute requests, and as well as a surge in student absenteeism in 3 recent test to stay events. they've had 1 in 5 students testing positive. Okay. Here's what I'm saying. They're basically, the reason why we're going to distance learning is because so many teachers and so many students are staying home anyways because of the protocols. Like, for example, my kids stayed home.
Yeah.
They weren't all sick,
Right.
but there was a sickness in our house. So per Granite School District's regulations, all my kids stayed home. Guess what? We've gone through the full cycle of sickness, and guess what? They never got sick once.
Yeah.
Someone in their house was sick. So these regulations are what's causing this situation, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's why they've had 2,200 substitute teacher requests. That's why they've had 1 out of 5 students test positive and not being able to go in or are staying at home, right?
That was just in the district, 2,200 sub requests.
That's what it says. I mean, Granite School District's huge.
Yeah.
There's a lot of schools involved in it. But that's huge, though.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm saying. Because of these regulations, we are going to further create regulations, which is stay at home. We're going to change things even further. The problem is not the sickness. The problem is these regulations. And that's what I've been trying to, that's what I think all of us have said forever. It's like Trump famously said, the cure can't be worse than the sickness, or the treatment can't be worse than the sickness, right? We have to make sure that what we're doing to handle the sickness isn't worse than the sickness.
Well, and to a certain extent, we need to realize that the role of the federal government is not to protect us against nature,
Right.
right? I mean, if there's a hurricane, yeah, give us some money to rebuild our houses. But we're not like, stop the hurricanes, government. Put
Right.
up a wall in front of the hurricane belt.
Right.
I don't know. It's an extreme example, but
Mexico border.
Extremely awesome.
At some point, and I do actually think that a lot of this is Trump's fault. Because instead of like saying this is a serious virus, so wash your hands, do blah, 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 I think he jumped on the let's make this a little bit bigger thing because it was like it was a good opportunity to like everyone watch me be president.
Ooh,
like
watch me.
We have daily press conferences now, and
Watch me be the responsible leader
who's
trying
handling
to
this
take care of this.
handling this crisis when in reality we never should have known who Anthony Fauci was. You know what I mean? He shouldn't have. Trump was like, listen to this guy. He should have never done that. He should have been like, my scientists are telling me this, so do this. Everyone
Right.
go back to your life. There's going to be a lot of death. That's part of life. Diseases happen. We're going to be okay, right? Because it's either that the vaccine happened naturally over in some Chinese wet market, or it was let go accidentally out of this lab, which is serious, or it was intentionally released to stop protests in Hong Kong. Either one of those doesn't equal everyone keep your kids at home. Like
Right.
what I'm getting at is like people dying isn't as bad as having your kids home for school. Isn't that? Can't we all agree with that?
Well,
I think the way you word it sounds incredibly selfish to humankind.
here's how I would word it.
But I think I see the intent of what you're trying to
Yeah.
Here's
get at.
what I would word. I would say that a small percentage of people dying, because that's it. And I say small percentage, I mean comparing it to other ways people die.
Yeah.
Car accidents and heart attacks and, just whatever. It's a relatively small percentage of people dying, and everybody in society gets affected by that. Why?
Yeah.
Why are we not all affected by cigarette smokers dying?
Right.
Like, why are we not all affected by, we got to change the menus in all the restaurants because people go out and they're too fat or whatever.
I think a lot of it, justifiably so, is that these other deaths we've talked about and health issues are choice.
So
As opposed to, I can't choose to get a virus. Like that's not my. I mean, I can lick somebody's tongue who has COVID.
So one
But-
example, though, they say roughly 30,000 people a year die from secondhand smoke in the U.S. So that's not their choice.
Right.
But again, we haven't outlawed cigarettes, which would, if we want to save 30,000 people a year, which is a lot of people,
Well, it's
just like that, we could have.
Well, we have made some steps, like making with the Clean Air Act, making it so that you can't smoke inside of a public building.
Right.
So we've
And so
done some.
I'm sure we've helped, but the point I'm making, and people say, oh, COVID's a lot more deaths, blah, 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 but it's the same principle. If we outlawed cigarettes tomorrow, 30,000 people we'd save their life next year.
It's way more than that.
I'm
Cigarettes?
I'm saying just secondhand,
secondhand smoke,
meaning
yeah.
people who didn't choose to smoke.
Right.
30,000 people, we would save their life just like that.
So do you choose to drive? Like, you can't really, like, I guess some people choose not to drive. Like, I guess my point is, when you walk out of your front door, you're at risk of dying. And when you stay inside your house, you are also at risk of dying. Like, there's no one that's going to be able to eliminate the risk of your life potentially dying.
Right.
Like, period.
And people will argue, well, COVID, blah, blah, blah. If only we got vaccinated, all these people would live. Okay.
Not true.
Or now we've got to stay at home to prevent these lives. But my biggest problem this whole pandemic is, like, what was the threshold? Because we're okay with 30,000 people dying of secondhand smoke and like 500,000 dying from cancer, from cigarettes every year. We're okay with that. At least we were okay to not make any drastic measure against the public, well-being. If we're okay with that, but we're not okay with COVID, what was the actual threshold that we passed? Like, is it 100,000 deaths a year? Is it 70,000? Is it 20,000?
What is the tolerance?
Is it?
Well, I'll tell you that they gave us the wrong numbers at first. It was communicated 2 million people, right?
Yeah, they thought, if we don't stay home, 2 million people are going to die.
Okay, that makes sense.
But what did that even mean? 2 million people total? Because that's kind of what I thought they were saying. Like, the total pandemic cost was going to be 2 million, but if we do A, B, and C, it'll be like 200 to 400,000.
Right.
That was like their estimated total.
And I get it.
Yeah.
2 million people is a lot of people to die, and that we should probably do something about that.
Right.
But then when we started finding out of like, oh, it's probably not 2 million. This is before even the vaccine was out.
Yeah.
It's more like this number. It's like, oh, okay, well, again, that to me became more accessible.
Yeah, but again,
or confrontable,
Like, I just want to know, because again, we were okay with people dying. We're not now. What's the threshold? Like, and what was the threshold for closing schools in Utah? Like, oh, we have all these new cases. Like, did somebody actually say, if we get over this amount, then we'll close schools again? Or is it just like, if a lot of people are worried and the news media gets really riled up, then we'll do something? That kind of seems like the whole COVID story nationwide. Like,
right.
If the media is really riled up and numbers seem to be going up, it's like these general feeling type things instead of what's the plan? Like, so that we all know, like, just so you know, Utahns, if the cases rise above this amount again, we're going to close schools.
Here's a thermometer.
Yeah.
If the numbers go into the orange, we're going to take these actions. If it goes into the red, we're going to take these actions. And we will daily update where these numbers are at. Okay, we're safe. We're in the green at this point.
Didn't we have a color thingy, daily color thing?
Yeah, and maybe those things exist, and I'm just uninformed. It just doesn't seem to me like that's how things operate. It seems like...
I think we have done the color thingy-majig, but I don't know if it was like, oh, this color means we're going to do this.
Yeah.
This is this. But it has been, it's like been 100% reactive.
Exactly.
We're reacting to a virus.
Right.
Which is something that now just exists. Like, we're not going to get rid of a virus.
Right. It's like September 11th. Oh, let's lock the cockpits and have metal detector checks going in. It was like after the fact, let's do all this stuff. That seems like the whole COVID thing. Every change in COVID is going to have this like after effect. Like, why haven't we 2 years later, like, made our healthcare response system more robust and more informative? So like, hey, here's the plan, everybody. This is happening. If it does this, we'll do this. It's just kind of like, let's act like I'm in charge. I'm the governor. I'm the president. Something's happening with the healthcare. I better do something instead of like, oh, we're going to go with this plan we'd already made and agreed on. So when they're like, why aren't you doing this, President? Well, we're doing our plan that we made 2 years ago. And so everyone just keep to it. People are going to die. People are going to get sick. Everyone keep working, you know?
Right.
I don't know. That's a long rant.
Take whatever measures you want. But, yeah. Man, mandates have always been a sketchy subject for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think it's good that a percentage of our population is really sensitive about freedom. Like, I don't think I'm that far, but I'm glad that there are people, because I do think, like, the whole point of our government was to limit our government and to limit its power. Mm-hmm. And so when the government tries to grab more power, which almost always is going to be for a good, like all the kings and noblemen were like, I'm helping you, blessed, stupid, poor person. By you being underneath me, I'm protecting you, you know, and so the neighboring army doesn't come take your house. So give me those gold coins or I'll kill you, right? I'm doing this favor for you. And that's kind of like, you know, I'm the government, I'm helping you. Don't worry, you know, but it's like,
kind of worried.
Yeah. So,
but I'm worried.
How do we get on another COVID rant?
COVID.
Sorry, guys.
This is the COVID
This can't be
podcast.
named COVID rant number 7, though, because no one wants to hear that.
No. Unless we'll talk about American Fork Police Department.
This one's going to be called Jake Tries to Get Every Sponsor on the Planet. That's the name of this episode.
Sponsored by every big company ever.
Mm-hmm. Brought to you by McDonald's.
And Disney.
And Disney. Cease and desist.
Yeah. Well, so obviously we've got some situations with COVID going on in the world, and seems like everyone doesn't know what to do. Everyone who should know what to do doesn't. I think that we should just allow the virus to do what viruses do, and let people get it, and allow people to work, allow people to go to school, and not scare people.
Even the president is kind of changing tune. He's saying like COVID's going to be part of life. Like,
yeah.
And the mayor of Chicago, was it Lori Lightfoot, or she's the governor of Illinois?
I don't know.
She's famously come out against the teachers' unions because the union said, we're not going back to school. And she said, yes, you are. And so she shut down the online learning system. It's if teachers want to get paid, they're going to show up to teach. And that's still a thing going back and forth, I think, right now.
Yeah. It's a great display of unions.
Yeah. So you're actually seeing a lot of, even, you know, on the left and Democrats actually coming out and saying, actually, we really need to. I think inflation has been the biggest thing that something real's starting to happen with our economy. Like, this isn't a game anymore.
I knew there was a problem when the other day I was going to go pick up some donuts, and it was closed. There's a donut shop that's by...
What time in the morning was it?
It was like 7:30.
They're that's open. Bad.
No, they're open. But I think they are closed down because of sickness.
Well, that's
a problem.
This was like a month ago.
Yeah.
This was like a month ago. The Wendy's right off of the on-ramp in Provo, their dining room was closed. Middle of the day, middle of the week.
It's happened to so many fast food restaurants.
Yeah.
I ordered... So I like Popeyes. Surprise, I like fried chicken. I'm kind of a connoisseur. I kind of am the best at knowing the best chicken sandwiches.
He loves fried chicken.
I ordered from Popeyes mobile app successfully. And
you already complained about this. And you showed up and it was closed.
I did. There was a sign on the door that said, we're closed until whenever.
Till we can come back.
Yeah. And so I had to send an email to the corporate and say, hey, I ordered successfully. I want my money back. So they refunded me my money. But it happens so many times. McDonald's lobbies are closed.
Right.
Places are closing early, and it's without notice. It's it's crazy how many businesses are.
Well, and
impacted.
again, it comes back to we're in this mindset of like, oh, I have COVID. Now I have to stay home. Well, the CDC has shortened that to 5 days.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I think it's likely if it does become more apparent that Omicron isn't a big deal, I think the CD is going to say, CDC is going to say, unless you have A, B, and C symptoms like shortness of breath, coughing, then just go about your life. You might have COVID. It's okay. But they're not going to say it like that. They're going to say like in some off-handed, stupid way, like that says on their website right now. But
I just realized something. Zombie movies, these end of times movies, the CDC becomes a very big deal in those movies. And now in real life, the CDC has become such a big deal.
Yeah, I wonder how many people
Are we gonna die?
never knew who the CDC was, but now totally like have a picture of Anthony Fauci on their wall.
I can't tell you how many. It's in the movies. It's so prevalent. I just know the CDC headquarters in like Georgia, right? Yeah, just from movies. But I've never really cared to hear anything the CDC said about anything until
now
2020.
you can't help but hear what the CDC says.
So anyway,
or doesn't say. Get it?
So zombies are coming?
no, I just think we're living in the Truman Show, is what I'm saying. This is an epic movie that's
Let's go
directed
find
by
the end.
Steven Spielberg.
Yeah. So this is the Truman Show. Thanks for listening. Any final thoughts, Jeff?
I just want to cry sometimes. I do want to say one thing. One thing I've noticed is that it seems to me that it seems like we're kind of running into a lockdown situation right now. Like, if you're sick, stay home. And like, before it was like a societal lockdown. And there's a lot of pushback that I could kind of see from that. Like, people didn't really care, didn't really pay attention. People I personally know. This one, now, it's not really a lockdown, but people I've noticed over the last 2 years now, or a year and a half, whatever it's been, are just kind of laying down, including myself. And within myself a little bit, I'm kind of like, yep, I'm just staying at home now, I guess.
Yeah.
And just take it. Where before I would have just two middle fingers in the air and I would have went, I'm going to work no matter what. I don't care what you say. But now people around me are kind of like, oh, they don't want, you know what I mean? Everyone has become more aware of the situation and more willing to just follow the orders no matter what they are.
Yeah.
And to me, that's not a good sign.
Well, and the problem is, I think probably because a lot of people can work remotely.
That's true.
And that's a big difference. But that's the problem we don't realize. When we shut a school down, how many jobs did we just eliminate?
Janitors.
Flat out. Well, I mean,
ladies.
anybody who has kids, anybody who's like, who works but has kids in school, but now their kids have to stay home. Now they can't work.
They can't work. Yeah.
That's the biggest problem. Like, if it were like, oh, let's just stay home or whatever, it's annoying, but whatever. It's annoying for my family, but my wife stays at home anyway.
Right.
But for a family who is obliterated financially from that decision, and there's got to be thousands and millions nationwide of those families. And that's what we're not really thinking about. And that's where I think our governments are being really irresponsible. They're not properly weighing the risk of.
That's right.
So a lot of mental health impacts too. Negative mental health impacts, having to work from home. I know it's become the normal to work from home, but how does that negatively impact?
I'll tell you,
the workforce.
It's hard on my
environment. The environment at work. It's like, it's weird that people are working with people that they've never met before, and working remote from home,
or to that degree, you're disconnected. Like, I haven't seen people with my company for months. I haven't seen them physically for months, and it's weird. It's like, but before we'd be in the same office, sitting 6 feet away from each other all the time.
Yeah,
and
human interaction is a necessity for health.
Right, and now it's like
personal health.
You're here, you're here, you're here, you're here. The closest we get is a Zoom phone call, and like, how personal can that be? You know, it's the difference between us chatting on a group chat or coming on this podcast and talking. It's totally different.
Yeah.
So,
anyway, we are in person today.
Oh yeah, we are.
Here we are.
Yeah,
and here we go.
Phil, do you have any final thoughts?
No, I just, and I could be wrong. I'll throw that out there. Like, obviously, maybe the CDC is saying we don't know because they really don't know. I think the CDC should know. Like, within a couple weeks, the CDC should know what's going on. But maybe they don't, and they're playing it safe. And the reason for playing that safe turns out to be a good one, because, like I said, maybe 20,000 people a day are going to start dying, which would be a lot of people. Is that worth shutting down schools? The question I'm asking is, I don't know, because what is the threshold? Like, what is the number that is it just, oh, it's a lot now, so let's shut down? Or what is it? Let's decide what we're willing to put up with. Like, how many deaths are okay and how many aren't? Having your kids home screaming at their mom because they don't want to do their schoolwork is annoying. And over here, people are going to die. So how many people is it okay to die versus screaming kids at home?
Being annoying.
I think there's a number in there somewhere. Let's figure it out.
I think that I'm kind of going to talk religiously here. Having an eternal perspective on life completely changes the way that I view things like COVID. Believing that there is a existence after our mortal life completely makes the way that I view death a little bit more acceptable. I don't know how to put it exactly, but we all will die eventually, and viruses are a big deal and a normal part of life anyway. So I think that we need to do our best to support the ability for people to do what they need to do to support their families and allow us to just go through life, do what we normally do, take risks, and be happy.
It's because of you religious zealots that this country is dying so much.
Exactly. And you know what? That's fine with people dying. That's because it's what we do.
As long as we can just be honest and say that openly, it's okay for people to die, right?
You're going to be okay. Even if you're dead, you'll be all right.
Yep.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Sounds messed up, but it is
And
true.
I don't mean to, there are people out there, maybe even people listening, who have lost someone due to COVID or will. That sucks.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it would suck if it happened in my own family. But I still think that having kids at home from school is worse.
Thank God you have that decibel reader thing, though. At least they're quiet.
No, with my wife and kids though, they just don't. It doesn't work. You know what I mean?
Oh, it doesn't work? The decibel reader alarm thing?
No. School at home. School at home doesn't work. Like
No,
they
it's-
just butt heads so hard. It's like
Because you can't be mom and teacher and. It gets kids mixed up. And when the teacher says be quiet, they listen.
right.
And when mom says be quiet about
don't
school,
listen.
Shut up, Mom! I hate you.
Beep, 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 beep.
Exactly.
yeah, this is not, I mean, anybody dying about anything is terrible. We joke all the time about guns and we talk all the time about super fat people or like whatever. But and this isn't it's a very real thing and it's really happening. I think to sum it up is that we are empathetic and realize that there really is a situation out there. But again, I go back to, is the cure worse than the sickness? And that's what I feel like is happening, is that what we're trying to do to mitigate this is worse than the sickness.
Right.
And I'm not saying that somebody dying is okay. I'm just saying that the rest of society lessening so that somebody doesn't die, it's a very personal thing. No, if that individual, wants to, they need to do their own thing. Everyone needs to do their own thing that they feel is right. That's why we live in America. You can go to college. You don't have to go to college. You get a vaccine. You don't have to get a vaccine. You can stay at home. You can go out. Like there's freedoms, and that's what I disagree with. Is when that gets trampled on. So
Trumpled
on.
Yeah, it got trampled all over.
Well, thank you for listening. This episode was brought to you by Domo. Domo, rethink your data management.
Domo Origato.
Mr. Roboto.
And by
listening.
Styx,
Is
the band.
Domo a real thing?
Yeah, it's a software company in American Forked.
Oh, is it?
It's also brought to you by Styx, the classic rock band.
We just advertise for free for
Everyone in American Fork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm just trying to think of when I drive down the freeway, go through American Fork, what corporate buildings do I see?
Yeah.
Domo's one of them.
There you go.
Okay.
See ya.
Bye.
Amen.